So I guess
4:35 is when your class is 4:35. You got 5 more minutes to start.
Actually, it's 4:40, but I asked my students to come 10 minutes earlier.
Oh, okay.
Another sound. and then sound.
Okay. So now, do I have to? So
Yeah,
we're live right now.
We're live right now, and I took up the sound.
Okay.
But that's okay. Don't worry about it. No worries. Just
Is this thing on?
No bad language. That's all.
Oh, come on! You're not fun.
What are those shows? Big Brother, like those shows? You gotta watch it. Camera's always on.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back, and welcome new. So welcome to our first meeting of CSTA, where we're actually officially a chapter. We are now fully recognized by the organization, the parent organization CSTA, which is part of the ACM this is fantastic because I know Sal kind of came into this with me like the beginning of this year, like over the summer. But all last year I was trying to get some things grounded up, and I thank Sal because he really was able to like kind of muster the troops, so to speak, get people in the schools connected to what we're trying to do here, and it's just fantastic. So what we do at every meeting is we kind of go around the room, we have everybody introduce themselves. The idea of this is that you may be the only person in your schools teaching computer science, and you have nobody else to talk to about teaching computer science, giving out your war stories, talking about curriculum and what we could do. So the idea here is we're all going to be friendly, we're all going to form a community, and help each other in whatever resources I can offer as somebody, as a university professor, and also as my competitive chairperson. We get a lot more resources that way. Certainly willing to help you guys out. We're going to do a lot of professional development. So right now we're kind of just focusing on each one of us at the on the executive board, giving some kind of demo and just trying to getting the conversation started. The last time I did Raspberry Pi. Today Sal's going to give us a demo on App Inventor. And we'll start this off by introducing ourselves. So I'm Susan Imperman. I'm a professor here at College of Staten Island, and I'm chairperson of the Computer Science Department.
My name is Zhang Zhang. Also, I'm a faculty in the computer science department. I think to say something about that, I taught once, twice the cybersecurity course here. As I learn more about this, I know there's a lot of the high school try to promote. The idea is to get the young kids get interested in the field as early as possible. There are some other high school does run some program in conjunction with I would see first time see what happened.
Margie Monteleone, I'm from Tottenville High School. I teach a section of computer science, the AP Computer Science Principles pilot, and Outlook.
I'm Joe Bureau. So I teach Staten Island Tech. I teach an AutoCAD course right now, and we're developing a computer science program.
My name is Tina, and I'm a faculty member at Blood Education Department. And my background is more elementary childhood and teaching. Been learning more about that potentially and also potentially we can help teachers design courses that teach a lower grade level students.
My name is Sandy Nevins. I'm the chairperson of Science and Technology at St. Peter's Boys High School. I teach AP Biology, Computer Science, and I'm an adjunct in the Computer Science Department.
Hi, I'm Sal Contes. I'm an assistant principal at Newdorp High School, and we actually have a software engineering pilot program at our school. We've offered CS courses before, And I just think this is a really, really nice and exciting time where I think CS gets his just due, because you got the mayor of New York City talk about CS for all. He has a 10-year initiative up to 2025 to get every kid from K to 12 having some type of computer science course, which is amazing. And just recently had a conversation with some principals and central staff about looking at New York State, about looking for certification for teachers, because even though they tend to be more math teachers, it's becoming a very common thing where people know coding and programming and all types. So I think it's a really exciting time now, and I'm really happy that we are officially a chapter on Staten Island.
Congrats.
Thank you.
I'm Christine Cortez. I also work at the high school. I'm actually not in the MVP program. I'm institute of science and teaching it.
Hi everyone, I'm Rick Weir. I'm on Senior Barrel. I'm the chairperson for computer science. I teach chemistry. I also teach the AP Computer Science A course. I teach a senior elective in C# programming, and then it works with Unity programming second.
I'm the computer science at Tech. Government there.
Emil?
Sorry. I'm Neil Chi. I'm sort of a member of the computer science department. I'm on my way to retiring.
He's going to be professor emeritus, which means retired.
I have been here for 45 years. But I'm still very interested, especially in the communication and coordination with the high school, because I firmly believe that is, that's the right way to do it.
I'm Sarah. The ITP program offered in the pilot first year for freshmen, and also teach a computer science course. And also the math course.
And back, I'm Deborah Stern, freshman here at CSI. I introduced and teach 3 game programming courses. We've done everything, scratch, add inventor, move it, XNA. We went here to just getting really so if you're curious to hear your. So welcome everybody, and I just want to say that because we're an official chapter, we actually have a president, a vice president, a secretary, and a treasurer. So our president is Sal Contes, vice president is myself, secretary is Christine Rivera, and as our treasurer is Sandy Evans. Round of applause for the ISEC board. So without much further ado, I'm going to introduce Sal, who is going to give us a demo of Apple.
All right.
So, in the SCP program, they provided us with tablets for App Inventor. And if anybody knows anything about technology, trying to make Apple work with Google could be a little challenging. So I'm going to show you a little bit, and I figured I started you with the beginning of how it is. So App Inventor is from the same group that created Scratch, CSTA-SI. So with App Inventor, they wanted to do a little more with mobile computing. So for my class in last semester, we're changing it up a little bit this semester. We started to touch on this. And I had a class of students that were not necessarily interested in CS, they just so what App Inventor pretty much does, and it's really nice, and I guess I'll speak with you later in regards to the iOS. The difference is, I would say, and I told this to the class, is if you want to create an app for iOS or you want to create an app for Android, one huge difference is in making an iOS app. If you are not already authorized, I believe it is, authenticated, you, as a developer there, that takes time. You have to be approved by Apple to be a developer for the apps. In App Inventor, you can just go to the website, download a small piece of software on your computer. It's really for the emulator part because there's 3 ways of connecting challenge. And you can literally download the file, upload it to your app, and literally within minutes have the app running on your tablet, which is pretty cool because you can say, yeah, I downloaded a Google Play and it's fine. I get dividends for it. You can say whatever you want, but it's literally within minutes. You can literally install it on your tablet. So we don't have time to do that part, but we have the fun part of showing you. So I picked something that I think you might be familiar with. This was in a very new, modern arcade game that came out. So Pac-Man. So it was now this version doesn't work yet. It will work. But just to show you what App Inventor can do. So if you look at App Inventor, they have many components to it. But if you look at the screen itself, you'll see there's your palette, which you click all of your blocks. And the idea is you have a 2-step process. And I'll come over here for a second. You have a 2-step process. One is you design it. And the other part is you code it. And because they're blocks, there's no true coding that you're actually typing, but the coding is there to see. So if you look at designer and blocks up here on the upper right, those are the 2 areas you mess with. So I kind of told the students, like, imagine you have these wonderful pictures, but they're just in a folder in a box somewhere. They're not doing anything. Nobody can really appreciate it. That's where then the blocks come in. So I have a bunch of all these pictures, but I want people to see it. So what do? Maybe get a photo album, maybe get a frame, and then I'm creating something out of those pictures. And that's what happens in that App Inventor. You design what you want, and in the blocks, you actually make the thing you need to do. So for example, if you notice here, you have your palettes, and of course, just like any other program, you have different options. You have layout, media, drawing, sensors, and as you click, it opens up into it. So this will be a blank slate. So if I didn't want to, I could literally take this button and this image that's right here and get rid of it. But because of time, I wanted you to show how quickly this can be done. So for example, you would grab a button, and I'll show you really quick. You grab a button, and obviously for a button, right, you want the function of pressing something. So kids tap the tablet and press it, it doesn't let the button. Some kids get confused, and they'll grab a label. And they wonder why it's not working. It's because you didn't grab a button, you grabbed a label. So that's what that is. So out of those 2, you have that. And then simply right here, this is just a static image. That's all it is. So obviously, like any other program, if you don't have it available to you, you can upload it like anything else. Find your image, put it on the computer, and actually, and I increased the screen a little too much, so I'll just decrease it 1. And you can actually upload it here. So you can upload any image you want, which that gets them excited because now they can put whatever they want. Of course, you always make sure everyone can see this. So make sure the images are clear. So right now, I put those things in. And the idea of a game, if you think about it, as a game, when you're doing something, when you click on something, it does something. So for this particular app, it has multiple screens, and I'll show you right here. So as you do something on one screen, it's going to do something else. If you don't add a screen, then you have to do everything on one screen. And you'll see real quickly how that works. And then I'll show you the app to show you that it actually works on the app as well. So right now, immediately you're going to say, oh, it's Pac-Man, let me hit the start button so I can start. That's going to do something. Well, what do you want it to do? Well, I want it to go to another screen so I can give them something else to do. But that's when the stuff really starts to work. For every component that you grab, it's listed over here. And just like every component has properties. So for example, if I click on the screen, these are all the properties that I can do with my screen. All right, I can write something about the screen, which you don't see as text. It's just kind of like notes for you. How you align it, left, center, right. The name of it, you can change the background. If I can immediately want to make this a white background because it's the screen, you click on it and make it, let's say, white, and then it immediately turns white. And because I'm immediately hooked up, it immediately changes. And I'll show you that in a second. So then that immediately changes. So For every component, there are properties. And then if you wanted to, kids love images, so they'll put on the background screen a background image. So then this black turns now into an image. So you'll see image upon image and it just sits. It gets a little too much. So then you have a lot of other options in here for each one. And then for the two actual components that you bring in, you have your other properties. It slightly changes for each component. Slightly changes for each component. So for an image, these are your components. The height of it, width, picture, whatever the picture is. And then because there's only one picture, that's what's here. But you literally, even though you upload the pictures in here, you can tell which one you want. And then obviously, if I don't want to show it, I uncheck it. If I want to show it, I check it. So instead of you deleting something, that's a nice little picture. I want to keep it in there. I want to do it later. This is interesting when you start getting into each property. For each property, they give you these options. So automatic, fill parent, and etc. The best one is automatic. And what that does is it doesn't know what necessarily device you have. So whether it's a phone, a tablet, a PC, not a PC, a phone, a tablet, and what are the other? Windows, same piece, a Surface, the still a tablet. It adjusts for that automatically. If you choose to fill the parents, depending on where you are, will fill the parent. So for example, because it's height, it will fill the entire height of the back. It will fill it. If you want to be specific, you literally can do it by percentages, or you can do it by pixels. You have that choice. And then, so something like this where I'm taking the image, and if you notice it says 300 pixels, if I open this on a phone, it'll be extremely large. If I open it on a tablet, it'll look really nice. If I say fill parent, you might not see too much, but that's what it does by height. It increased it enough, but because I have a button, it only increases it by so much. If I go automatic, it puts it for the image, for what that screen display is, and whatever the pixel size of that image is. So that's why it did this. But because we want it to look exactly how we want it to look, we gave it the image of 300 pixels. Same thing with width, do the same idea. Automatic. And then if you notice it shifts it because this is a small, this is a phone. Okay, and then I'm just going to put it back. Okay, button 2. As soon as you click on button, a new set of properties. Again, the button, the background is yellow. I change it, I can change it. Do I enable the button? Let's say you want to keep the button, but you don't want to do anything right now. Just uncheck it. You don't have to delete it. All your properties and everything stays the same. Change the font size, change the bold. If you want to italicize it, so I can italicize it. And if I want to make it a size 20 font, and then it immediately just does that. So because the fact that this is actually plugged in, you'll actually see it. So I'll show you that now. So now, right now, there are 3 options of connecting App Inventor. One is USB. This is not the recommended option, even though this is the most secure because there's no interference. They recommend not to. They recommend Wi-Fi. Your device has to be, and your computer have to both be at the same level. And the last one is the emulator. So those are your 3: USB, your actual AI companion is what they call it, which is the AI companion. Not to be confused with artificial intelligence. App Inventor, it's called AI companion. And the emulator. So those are your 3 options up here. And that's where you would actually go and make it connect. So right now, I'm not sure if everybody sees, but I'm just seeing what that's displaying. Okay? So I can reset the connection. Now, on the tablet, you actually need the App Inventor app, which is free on the Google Play Store. Download it, it's there, and I'll just show you quickly. It's right there on the home screen. So once you download it, it's there, and there's the app. Right? So now I just change and alter a little bit of the text. So I don't want it italicized, and usually what happens is the moment I click and uncheck something, it flashes the screen and it italicizes. So it's that instant. I think I had 13 or 14. I click outside and it flashes again, and then it changes. So it's instant. It's literally that instant. And then right now, I know it works. I can actually hit the start button, and it's actually going to do something. Right? So right now, I hit the start button, and it showed me how to play the game. But what did App Inventor do? So if you notice, when I hit this changed. So the idea is, this is now, because this is not grayed out, this is the blocks. But by hitting start, it also changed the screen. So I'm going to go back to the designer for a second. What happens is, I hit the start button on the tablet, it changed the screen. It actually changed the screens, all the screens that are listed here. But how do we do that? So I go back to what the designer does and then what the blocks do. So I'm going to shoot back real quick to go to the screen one. And like I said, there's a bunch of options. You have all similar options. There's the same height, width, you can change the shape. You can actually add an image to your button. So if you don't like a plain old yellow button, you can put an image to it. But then I'm going to go to blocks. And this is literally very, very simple. So in this situation, you literally have just 3 blocks. Because all I did was hit the button and go to another screen. So once you go on blocks, now you have your panel change. It's no longer a panel. All right? These are all your functions. And within each function determines what block to use. So for example, this right here, right? This is the button that I wanted to do something. So here's your button. Once you click on button, these are your options in button. So I'll click it in just to show you. I'll move it over just a bit. So here's button, and these are your options. And those of you that know math, you'll see a lot of familiar buttons. It's a ton of them. And the idea is, what did you want it to do? Well, I wanted the button just to go straight to the instructions screen. So you can tell it that, right? When button 1 is clicked, what are you going to do? I'm going to open the screen. But what screen are you going to go? You're going to go with instructions. And these, you label them yourself. Instructions, whatever, directions, whatever you want to call it. You label it yourself. So that literally did that. That's all that screen did. That's all you wanted to do. So right now, so for that screen alone, for that function, that's all I needed for it to go. And that's not much. So I'm going to go next. The next was the instructions, right? And just to show you, and I'm showing you this so you can see that it's good. So when I click the start button, it went to this screen, right? But you get a blank screen. You don't get all this. It's all done for you. You just have to bring things in. Now in this situation, if you notice, there's nothing here I really want to click, except all the way down here, you know where it says go to level. That's when you say, oh, well, what does that mean? I want to click on it. Right. So in this situation, these are all your labels. And that's really simple. You just click on a label from here on your user interface. You click it and you drag it across. Depending where you want it, will change that color. You can put it anywhere you want, on the bottom, on top of everything, and then it pops up here. Okay? So you can do that. And then, like I said before, you have that label checkbox. So, right? So that's what you do. You just bring it in. I think it's decreasing or increasing the screen size. So, but just like everything else, like the image and the button, the label has its own properties too. If you notice, they repeat themselves. They're all repetitive, right? I don't want no background color. The text I want it to be yellow. I want it to show. If you're gonna notice that the text here is gonna be larger than the other ones, and then height and width will automatic as they put them in. Because as you put more and more components in, it's gonna crowd that space. So as you put automatic, it makes it much easier. So if I go to label 2, you're going to notice that quickly right over here, the font size is going to be small. Okay? But the last one, if you notice, if I go to level select, I'm assuming it's the button. You click on the button, it is, and you can actually tell it whatever you want all the way in the bottom here. And I'll try to give it the increase. Okay? So for every button, you give it text. And that's when you start seeing that. So we can change it around, do whatever we want. Same properties for all of them. They're all there. Centering the selection and everything like that. So that's all fine and dandy. Here, it's showing you. So what happens when I click go to level select? I'll just make it smaller again. I'm going to go back and forth. So what did it do? It changed me to another screen. And if you notice up here, it actually brought me to screen 2. So how do I know? It's here. That's screen 2. So what do? I wanted to go to another screen. Well, how did I do that? Well, you want to go back to instructions for a second. In the blocks, you did the same thing. You repeated the same function. From the first screen to the next screen, it was the same thing. When I click this button, open another screen called whatever the screen you want. Now, what I told the students are label your buttons, right? And in the App Inventor, they tell you that all the time. Don't leave them as button 1. Change the name. And then in Designer's where you change the name. So for example, that can be confusing as they go through it. So what they tell you to do is in here, don't just say label 1. Highlight label 1, rename it, and say label 1 was actually how to play. So they tell you keep label and just add how to play. And all this is doing is giving the label a name. So when you go into your blocks, you remember that, oh, that's that label. Because see label 1 again and again, and it's going to be too confusing. Label 2, and if you notice, as you click on it and highlight, this could be rename label, I don't know, first direction. I didn't want to say one direction. And then label 2, and if I had a robot here, we should have robotics here. You can hold that, you can actually see that it's and here's the same thing, label. The third label would be second direction. And they don't like spaces. No spaces. Keep the space. Keep it like that. And then so on and so forth. That's how you do it. But again, going back, this is the second screen, going back, it said, well, the only thing you did was go to that block. So I'm going to come back here. Right? And now it's saying how to play. It's going to jump back again to what level. It flashes. Now what do you want to do? Now this is a little bit more. I'm doing a couple of more things, but if you notice, it's repeating the same function. And it starts to give you options. For example, like everywhere online, whenever you see an arrow, it's going to drop down to this. So now things are adding up. The reason why this is here is because I wanted to do multiple things. On the first 2 screens, that wasn't the case. I only wanted to do one thing. Here is now multiple things that I want to do, or what they call multiple levels. You want to see where that's from, again, you go back to your designer. So whatever you create on your designer first, then you build it with the blocks, not the other way around. Because right now, let's say I wanted to add a checkbox for whatever reason, right? I can't go to blocks. I can't and find a checkbox. So you will only get in your blocks what you bring in. So nothing's going to appear until you actually bring it in. So in Designer, I grab checkbox just because, and throw it in the bottom, and then I go to blocks, and now I want to set it up. Now here's checkbox. Now I can go to checkbox, and you're going to know there's even more blocks. That's how it simply works. And then from here, you can delete that checkbox from here, and you notice that it's gone here. You could have actually deleted it from 2 places, which is nice. I've never played with App Inventor 1, but from what I've read, they didn't have that feature. They had it, so I'm not sure. Oh, that's new, right? So, and then of course, there's a little bar up here. This is actually the screen 2, and that'll show you your text up here. So you can literally manipulate a lot, and the battery never dies. The battery never dies. It's always there. So that's level 1 and 2 and 3. And obviously, a lot of kids forget they click here. They'll say, oh, let's go to level 1. It's like, well, why didn't you go to level 1? This is your designer. It's not. It's so funny when you see them going back and forth. It drives them a little crazy. They're like, why isn't that working? I'm like, so stop clicking on the computer and grab the tablet and do it again. Oh, I see. That's one way. I'm going to quickly, I see, it's going to work. It's going to probably be done. I'm going to take a shot at it. So I always tell the kids, always reset your connection. If you do a hard reset, it closes the program and then it has to launch. And I thought it was the school's firewall. I thought it was that was holding it back, but it wasn't the case. I did it at home, and it literally, number one, it turns it on and it looks for the device. And once it finds the device, it verifies that it found the device, and then it makes sure everything is running before it actually turns on. We literally save minutes. I mean, if you're teaching a class, 45 minutes, you have a double period, you have a that time gets eaten up so much. So what we did was we started using the emulator more, and then we started saying because in my classroom, and I'm sure a lot of others, I only have 8 of these, and by chance I had 24 kids in the fall semester, so it's easy to make groups of 3. So I told one kid does the emulator while the other one loads this, because they like the emulator's nice, but they just like having the tablet, walking across the room, outside the hallway, and messing around, and that's the fun part. But these are the options here. I changed my mind. I don't want to click it because I don't want it to not work. So the same thing here. Every button is there, and then your options, and then just to show you again. I purposely shut these off really quick because it dies. So level 1. And then it jumps you to level 1, the other screen. And this screen is just something very quick. Like I said, this Pac-Man game is not working. The next one. Okay, and this is very simple. The idea is this is where level 1 would play. Okay? And this is my level 1 screen. Level 2 is the same. Level 3 is the same. Level 4 is the same. So it's getting ready to do it. Okay? And that was at options. And then do the same thing here. So if you want to go about us, which is my favorite part, you actually see here, I don't know if you can see what about us is. If you look really carefully. If you don't see it in the back, I'll blow it up here. Kind of like summarizing my time here. So, and then it's still the same thing. These are the designs. You got simple messages. You can bring in video. You can bring in audio, images. Now this tablet, this is a Nexus 7. This doesn't have the vibration in it, but this has an option of shape to undo. This can do that. This can also, and it works really nice. This can also, and I think I have the app already created here. You can actually take a picture with this, with the app, and it changes the background. That was one of the last projects our kids did. It's really a fun thing. And then literally when you're done, you actually go to projects, and you can actually export your project to an AIA, and then believe it or not, import it onto your tablet, and it becomes an app on your tablet. So let me pull up one, see if I have the one with the picture. Projects. So let me give it a shot. So let's see if it works here. The point of this app was you can do 2 things with it. You put your buttons up of different colors. If you hit red, you should be able to touch any part of the screen with the color. You hit blue, same thing, green, yellow. But if you held down your finger, you can actually change that around. So then you say, well, how do you do all that? Well, if you notice everything on the screen is here. There's an option of horizontal arrangement. So on the top, if you wanted to keep those colors all together, we used horizontal arrangement. And then you put the buttons in horizontal radio. And all you did was pretty much, if I wanted to get another button, I would drag it in here. And if you notice how it changes into that blue, it will literally pop it in there as another color. So if I threw it in there, that button becomes part of that arrangement. But right now, if you notice, this button is too wide. All the other ones shrunk. Who do you think remembers how to fix that? If I grab button 1, what do you think if you can fix, so it can fit nicely? Whoever has it, use that. Yeah, I'll give you a hint. It has to do with your width.
All the way on your right. There you go.
Right. So you would go on the properties, you would click on width, and you would just hit fill parent. You don't have to press any numbers. Fill parent, say, okay, now they're all the same size. Because all of the other buttons, if you watch, all the widths say fill parent. Blue, fill parent. Green, and then yellow. So that's how you just get them in there, and then just like all the other ones, and kids start learning really quick. After a while, right, you don't have to say much. I click here, look what happens when I click green and blue. Nothing changes much except colors. But when I hit text, something changes on top. But what if I wanted to make that a different color? Thank you. I wanted to make it magenta, but that I didn't want it to say text, I just wanted it to say magenta. And then it's there. And then it says magenta. And if you notice, you still have to do some work on it, but it's there. All right. Let's try the camera. So the camera is supposed to work where you hit the camera, it accesses the camera, and then if I take a picture, and if it works well, remember I forgot which one I grabbed. It's going to grab that. I think it looks awesome. You can't see, but there's a check mark in the bottom. And then now it literally took the background of that. So I used the camera in the app to do that. Red still works, blue still works, green still works. Thank you. Magenta's not working because I didn't go in there and create the blocks from magenta. Okay, if you want to do that, you can. You just jump into blocks. And this is what the blocks look like for this app. And then the kids learn really quick. You know, can I just copy and paste that block? You can. You can simply copy and paste that. And that's what I was saying. This is when it pays dividends when you start doing it and when you label them right. You get some kind of used to like writing papers. You know, you gotta label everything. You know, when they're organizing their papers, writing their notebooks. That pays large dividends later on. And then depending on what functions you want to do in the blocks, like if you wanted to do just controlling one, there are statements for each statement. You have all of these. There's hundreds of them. And I'm part of their Google group, and there's always something every week, something like that I get. This is the logic on, and then you have your math functions, so everything's in math. So I mean, it's a great way of teaching algebra. It really is. You can just put simple old text if you wanted to do something. We did a compass. I don't have time to show it. We did a little compass, and the compass allowed it to. So we did a compass one, and I followed a lot of the app adventure stuff. I went on YouTube, was great. Go on YouTube, find a user that does it a lot. There are your list statements. I mean, it's just all the stuff is here. All your built-in pieces are here. The camera's here. If you notice the camera down the bottom. What I wanted the camera to do. All it did was, when I click the button camera, it takes a picture. After the picture, what do you do after you get the picture? I wanted to say, the camera's on the background image. What image? Well, let me get that image for you. And it's little. It's just as simple as anyone codes anything or programs anything. It happens that way. And you know, one of the cool small little things the kids get used to is watching these warning signs. Yellow's the warning and red is an error. And it'll say 1 or 2, and so we'll look for it. And it'll tell you. Like for example, if I started changing, I'll give you a perfect one. If I changed, I created a magenta one. I'm going to copy this. Right now, the fact that I copied and pasted immediately gave me 2 errors. Immediately gave me 2 errors. And I know it's hard to see on the screen; is much clearer. And it says, you know, this is a duplicate event handler for this component. The only reason why is because they're both technically, you can't see, they're both red. So all I have to do is, I wanted to change it to magenta. I have to go to designer, magenta, right? That is good. Magenta, blocks, then button. What do I call it? Button. I called it button 1. So now I have, so now button 1, and I would change it to, I would tell it to change to magenta, and now the errors are gone. And then hopefully, despite a simple copy paste, hopefully magenta works. So let's work. And I'm done. I want you guys to. So that's. I mean, there's so much to do with Acromental. I think I like it a lot because it was immediate gratification for them, because you know our kids, they like immediate gratification. So the great thing about it is, obviously, it's software is free. These are inexpensive if you're a DOE person. These old ones are on Shop DOE. You get these on shopdoe.com. I've seen them on Amazon for probably 160 bucks, 70 bucks. This is the 7. The 7 doesn't have the vibrating part, but you can use the box to shake and it'll work. The downside, if you're having a strong firewall in your school, it's going to take time. If your laptops have, or your computers have student accounts and have administrator accounts, we've learned the hard way, thanks to Christine helping me out. We have to always allow on the Mac computers. I mean, it must have happened at least for every laptop anywhere between 15 to 20 times, because we didn't want to give them administrative accounts. So we struggled on that. And then, you know, we went in there, so we changed a lot of settings, went back. So that was the hard work, all the hard work in the beginning. But once we got it going, it was great. Now I'll try it now. So I'm going to do the emulator. And I'm going to do a reset connection. I always tell the kids just to close the app out. And then when you connect with the emulator, it does this. And again, it takes its time. So what you clicked on initially was the first option, which is AI Companion. AI Companion is your tablet, right, through Wi-Fi. And USB is obviously for you. And then this is your emulator. This is the software you have to download. The only software you have to download, which is very small. But again, if you don't have administrative rights, it's going to be challenging. And so this is the challenging part, having kids wait for this part. So that's why I always have one kid get the laptop ready, one get the emulator ready, and make them have fun with, oh, resize your windows with this takes time. And unfortunately, in some classrooms, it's a class before you and how to use it, you gotta work that out. And it works the same way. It works the same way. I shut him off, I took it out. So it's not as big, you know, it's small. Some kids do the flip-flopping into the main screen. They want to make this, if they want to maximize it. But same thing here, that's the phone. And if I hit red, it works. Magenta works. Blue, right? The only thing, because it's an emulator, something doesn't work. You can't. So wiping it cleans everything out, but if I hit camera, it crashes. And it wants to do something, but it can't. So there's no catch. And then it says you messed up and you gotta do it again. But the good thing about the emulator is you go, you reset, you open up the emulator, and then little Jordan pops up. And then it works. Okay? So here, and have fun. Is this a good time? Yeah, look, I did good. Hey.